Zoning Commission meeting to order. All please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Hugh Stiffman, our Vice Chairman.
I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Mike Carruthers, Joliet Township.
Here.
Scott Lager, Homer Township. Kim Mitchell, Channahon Township. Barbara Peterson, Washington Township is present. Hugh Stiffman, Frankfurt Township.
Here.
Thomas White, Troy Township.
Here.
Chairman Len Valone, Manhattan Township.
Here. In your package, you have the meeting minutes for July 11th, 2017. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
Motion approved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I abstain. I know it's because I was not here. Meeting minutes passed. Madam Secretary, do you have any announcements?
Mr. Chairman, variance cases will be heard to a completion by this commission. We do have several other cases that will go forward to the Land Use Development Committee on April. The August date.
Okay, thank you. Everyone who plans on giving testimony tonight, we're going to make sure that you did sign into our sign-up sheet. Okay, and at this time, I'm going to swear everyone in mass. So please raise your right hand, and after I swear you in, say I do. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. I do. Thank you. If you could turn off your cell phones now, I'd appreciate it. The Planning and Zoning Commission for Will County has 7 members. Tonight, we only have 5 members. You do need 4 yes votes for approval on any of your cases. So if, when your case is called, if you would like to continue the case, we'll allow you to continue it to our next meeting if you would like. So to make that clear, you need 4 yes votes. You have 5 members, and we have 2 absent. Okay. We'll open up the agenda. First case on the agenda, zoning case ZC-16-043. The applicant is P&S Properties. We have a request for a special use permit, and Jessica from our staff will open up the case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zoning cases ZC-16-043 and ZC-17-013 are for adjacent properties. So the presentation will be for both properties. You will be making your votes for each separate zoning case. Both zoning cases take place in Joliet Township. The applicant, PFA Systems, Inc., is requesting a special use permit for a truck terminal in order to expand the operation at 1351 Channahon Road and to expand it onto the adjacent property, which is 1231 Channahon Road. Both properties will serve the same business. On the map here, you see an aerial of both properties, and I've even notated which one is ZC-17-013 and which one is ZC-16-043. So it would be the same business, adjacent properties, slightly different ownership, but it will both will serve PFA Systems, Inc. On the screen is the plat for each of the properties. And here you see the zoning map. So they're primarily surrounded by industrial zoning. There's an I3 zone parcel to the south, I2 to the east. There is an A1 zone parcel to the west. It looks like it probably had an industrial use at some point. It looks that it might be vacant at this time, but it did serve a warehouse at some point. So based on tax assessor records, it would be considered legal non-conforming, the building. So here we have a couple of pictures. The first one is an image of 1351 Channahon Road. So that one is for zoning case CC-17-013. The second one is an image of 1231 Channahon Road, ZC-16-043. Right next to each other, they do share kind of a common parking area. So the first picture here is an image looking southeast along Channahon Road or Route 6. The second one is looking northeast along Channahon Road. This would be from across the street. You are able to see both properties, and I've notated which one is which. Again, right next to each other. And the second picture is an image facing west, so the view of the parking area in the front, which is employee parking, and then the truck parking is in the back behind the fence. And you can see in the very back, it is kind of a wooded area. Staff is recommending approval of a truck terminal for zoning case CC-16-043, and we're recommending approval with just one condition, which is a standard condition. The commissioners were also provided a memo today with comments from the Will County Health Department and the City of Joliet. The Will County Health Department had no objection to the special use request, and then they did not give a separate letter for 1351 Channahon Road. They only referenced 1231. And then the City of Joliet also doesn't have an objection, but they did recommend putting a condition for landscaping to be put on the property. So I put a memo in there for you to review if that's something the commission would like to add on top of it. I would note, though, that with the Will County Land Use Department wouldn't require any additional landscaping as part of this request or as part of the building permit request because they're not adding any additional impervious area. And they're also zoned I2, so they wouldn't be required to screen as well. And then if you look at the aerial, and I'll let the applicant speak for himself as well, it looks like there's very limited green space to accommodate landscaping. So keep that in mind before you condition that as well.
Can we go back to the pictures of the front of the property, just for that? Just for that?
This one, or?
Okay. All right, just leave that there.
And then that concludes staff's analysis.
Okay, any questions of staff? Okay, thank you. At this time, would the applicant like to speak? Well, the applicant's coming down. Are there any objectors or concerned citizens that would like to speak on this case that are here tonight? No? Okay. These two cases.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission. Michael Hansen, Kavanaugh, Grumley, Gorbel here on behalf of the petitioner. First of all, we agree with the staff report. This all resulted when we started the construction of a building. We found out that the properties are not in compliance with the current Will County zoning ordinance, so we're making an attempt to be in full compliance. The staff report, staff has been excellent to work with, very comprehensive report. And with respect to the landscaping request by City of Joliet, I would agree that I don't believe it merits a condition on our special use permit, but I will go back to the client and we'll look into doing some landscaping on the property. Ms. Gale is correct in the sense that there's probably hardly any spot to use it. It is a totally industrial area, but I recognize the request of the city and we'll try and do something to see if we can spruce up the property a little bit.
Okay. Is there anyone here from the City of Joliet tonight? Okay. Any of the commissioners have any comments on that? Okay.
Who's going to see the landscape?
Anybody who's
The
driving
truck
by in the
driver?
car.
That's the old best environmental property.
Yep, you're exactly correct.
Yeah, there's no way.
No, they put potted plants out.
Yeah, they used to stick stuff off the front. There's
Well,
no, it's all concrete blacktop.
Okay, so is there really a necessity for landscaping?
That whole stretch right there is all
All right, well, I would
And it all
suggest
looks
that
just like that.
we let it go then.
I think they should be happy that there's going to be an occupant of the property.
If there's,
We have a very good tenant here, landlord, I should say, who runs a very fine business, so, but we'll look into it and we'll see what we
well,
can do.
that takes the place of
It's not going to be something that we're going to inquire you, so at this point.
Yeah, the previous business used to put out potted plants, potted flowers, you know.
Well, maybe we'll try that again.
It's a little late in the season for that, though. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll take this one case at a time. I'd like to entertain a motion for the requested special use permit on ZC-16-043.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to...
17.
17-013.
Oh, yeah, you know what?
Did they have 6? Oh, they do.
Yeah, 1-6.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we filed it with 2 separate
Zero,
years.
correct, Mike, just what is it?
sorry.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve case number ZC-16-043.
Hold on, Mike. It's 17.
No, it's up there at 16.
Oh, is it 16
What
or
is it?
17?
One is 16, one is 17.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
all right. I was
Keep
wrong.
going, you did it right.
Special use permit for truck terminal
Okay, with what?
with wind condition.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next, we have a zoning case ZC-17-013.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make the same motion to approve ZC-17-013, special use permit for truck terminal with one condition.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next case on the agenda, zoning case ZC-17-021. The applicant is Edgar Chavez. We have a request for 2 variances. Jessica from our staff will open up the case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zoning case ZC-17-021 takes place in Troy Township. The applicant is requesting 2 variances in order to leave a shed that was already installed on the property. The shed was installed with a concrete slab without obtaining permits from the Will County Land Use Department. The area of the property can be seen on the screen. The property is improved with a single-family residence. The shed is not shown, but is located in the northeast portion of the property. You can see the plat of survey on the screen with the shed's location identified in the red circle. The property is zoned R3 and is surrounded by R3 zoning on all sides. The first image shows where the shed is located on the northeastern side of the property. The second image shows the single-family residence. The first image on this slide shows the view facing south on Shop Drive, and the second one shows the view facing north. Staff is recommending denial of a variance for side yard setback from 10 feet to 2.77 feet. Staff does not find that the plight of the owner is due to unique circumstance. The shed was constructed without a building permit, and after installation, it was determined that it encroached into both the setback requirement and the utility easement. Staff also recommends denial of a variance for rear yard setback from 5 feet to 2.02 feet. For the same reasons mentioned before, the shed would not have been installed within the setback or within a utility easement had a building permit application been applied for first, and the applicant would have been advised. However, ComEd, if you notice in your packet, has no objection to the encroachments either and is permitting encroachment into those utility easements.
Yeah, but ComEd also mentioned that if they had to get in there, it would cost the owner they'd destroy the thing, and it would cost the owner for the destruction and rebuild.
That is correct. And that concludes staff's analysis.
Is ComEd saying that, are the electrical lines underground in this area, or are they above ground?
I'm not sure.
I guess I
And I'm
guess-
not sure if they even specified in the letter that's attached.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions to staff? Okay, is the applicant here tonight? Why don't you come down? We have a couple denials, so I think you should come down on this one. Is there any objectors or concerned citizens that would like to speak also? There are. Okay. Please state your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Edgar Chavez, property owner at 804 Shop Drive. Like staff,
Are you speaking a little into the mic?
I'm requesting a variance setback for both the side and the rear. ComEd didn't have anything besides that if they had to get back there, the wires are on top, so.
Are the wires on poles over there? Or are they on the ground?
Yeah, it's just one pole. There's a shed. Our neighbor has a shed located
I
basically.
mean, the whole neighborhood, are the wires up above, or are they in the ground?
No, they're above. It's just
Okay.
like 2 wires.
Okay.
So they just basically said if they have to get back there for any reason, they wouldn't be responsible for any damage.
All right, is the pole on your property, or is it on a neighbor's property?
It's on a neighbor's.
It's on the neighbor's property?
Right.
Okay. Is it close to you, how close is it to your property?
Not even 5 feet.
Okay, but it's on the neighbor's property?
Correct.
Okay, ComEd said that you would have to pay for the damages, you understand that?
Right.
Okay, are there any other questions of the, we don't have any other questions, but we have someone that wants to speak also. So I'm going to ask you to take a seat there, unless you have something else to say. Take a seat, and I'll give you a chance to respond after they speak, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're bring the overhead up with the houses. Please state your name to the record.
Sean Rolando, neighbor. A couple things that I'm kind of interested in. I understand the shed that's closest to the utility easement. I'm concerned with any type of damages that might be incurred to the neighbors because ComEd finds another alternative to be able to maintenance the overhead lines.
Okay.
Would ComEd also pay for that, or would the neighbor be responsible for any damages?
Where is your property in relationship to his?
Directly east.
East, is that to the right up there?
Yeah.
Okay, so is the pole on your property?
No, it's on the neighbor's property.
So where's the pole, which property is the pole on?
The pole is
Above?
actually upper right on.
Kitty corner from his property?
I'm sorry?
Kitty corner from his property?
Yes. Well,
You can
Okay.
see like the neighbor's shed, and
Yes.
it's on his yard. That's the neighbor's shed. And the pole's like right there.
yeah, it's right on the property
Well,
line.
Doug, do you have a fence there?
Yes.
Okay, whose fence is it at the back of the property line?
Actually, all 4 neighbors have fences. They all join right there.
So when you say who would be responsible for damages if ComEd does damage back there?
Right. If ComEd deems to take a different alternative to go back there because of the shed, would the homeowner be responsible for any damages that ComEd produces?
Well, the only thing I know about ComEd is that I think even in my own house, I have a fence, and I think what they told me is that if they need to get back there and take that fence down, they're going to take it down. So it's not a necessary action of the applicant, it's an action of the ComEd. So I'm not sure if Matt could speak on that.
No, from what I've heard in times past.
Can you push your...
How's that?
Yes.
From what I've heard in times past, I think you're right. ComEd, if they're going to need to take action to get access, they're going to do it, and then they're going to work out compensation later down the road. But if they need to get access, they're going to do it. That's my understanding. I can't speak on behalf of ComEd, but that's my understanding.
So probably it would not be his responsibility. At least that's what, typically how easements work. That if you build a fence in the easement, then if for some reason, whether it's the village, the county, if they wanted to put a drain pipe through there, they're going to take all those fences down. Typically, utilities and municipalities are reasonable with people, and sometimes they may put them back in, but you know, we can't speak for them. We're only going to speak to what's actually been up here before us for those 2 variances. So we can't speak about the damages, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit of what we know, and if you want any further clarification on that, you might want to talk to ComEd. So other than that, so you're objecting on that basis?
I do have another question.
Sure.
I don't know if the utility easement also is taking into consideration about drainage in that back area. Right now, the properties, because it's well and septic, they veer off to the sides of the homes, and they also veer back into that utility easement. My concern is with the size of this shed, it's literally a small garage, and it's been approved, I believe, from the staff.
What size is it?
12 and a half feet deep by 18 foot wide.
Do you think it's going to impede the flow of drainage, is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm concerned about the concrete slab as well, with the amount of water that does build up in the back there. The building has been already approved by inspectors, but there was nothing mentioned about the concrete slab.
Part of the process on the building approval is they do look at drainage, and that's part, if they did see that that was a problem, the only thing I can tell you is I could look at that overview right there. If you look at it, it looks as though on the bottom left there, it looks like there's a pretty large building right on the property line. And if you look at the upper right, next door to you, it looks like there's a shed over there that's probably about 5 or 7 feet away. Probably could be outside the easement, but I can just tell you that when they get the building permit, that's something that they do look at. So there is 2 feet, a little over 2 feet on the one side and almost 3 feet on the other side. I'm not saying it's a lot. I'm not a drainage inspector, but our people at the building department look at that. So that's, I guess they didn't object to it, so they gave them the permit.
Okay, I just want to verify that, because those
Those are
structures are
questions.
not on concrete. They're actually,
They're like what they just lay there?
yeah, they're just,
Like a skin?
right. So
Okay.
any type of water does drain underneath.
Okay.
Or the one that's closest to property is on a bunch of gravel, so.
How long have you lived in that house?
20 years.
Have you ever, has Conrad ever been back there?
Nope. And I'm not concerned about comment, to be honest with you. I was more concerned about.
Yeah, I think Conrad's pretty good. They've been in my backyard. If they have to bring equipment in there, they're gonna bring something. They have fences all along the county, so they're gonna bring something in there that they could, to minimize the damage, because they can't, obviously can't hardly get much of a big piece of equipment between those houses. So they're gonna do what they can to, work with the homeowners. Just common sense, I would believe. But if you want any further clarification on what they might have to do, you can call them up. Okay? Anything else, sir?
No, that's,
All right.
His shed can be
thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chavez, would you like to speak on that or no?
Yeah, sum it up a little bit. So look, like I said, the neighbor's shed's a little closer. We did kind of build it without a permit. Cost is now with cement over $6,000 for my father and I. We did get it well built, like with the cement, so there's no water, like neighbor's concerned. That's how it did pass the health. And then with the wires, it's not on his property, it's on the neighbor's, and the wires that go from that pole goes to our house. Not sure which one goes to his, but it's not on that property. And
Sure.
pretty much what I had.
All right, well, the only thing,
And like you guys said,
you know, when you build without a permit, sometimes that's why we're in this process, because if you didn't have to go, if you went to the building permit process, they would have told you, you have to be in this spot on the lot, and you wouldn't have to be here before it's signed, so. All right. You have anything else to add?
Like you guys said, that's what ComEd said. If we have to get back there, we're going to get back there regardless. We've never seen ComEd in the neighborhood.
When did you put this shed up?
Last year, I don't have the exact date, but we did build it last year, like towards the end, like last fall. I believe a little bit. Yeah, about last. I mean, it took us a while because we didn't hire, top notch. We, got a little family members and build it, ourselves. Besides the cement that we put on there, because we obviously wanted to build it nice. But since we started with the whole process, we kind of laid off on it. Just we didn't want to invest any more money without,
Sure.
so we put a hold on it, but yeah, it did take us quite a while.
Okay.
Did somebody call in and report you building?
That I'm not sure. I believe might have been the neighbor. I mean, but I spoke with my both neighbors on each side, and they didn't have a problem. They actually thought they had to sign off for, but I'm like, no, you guys can come if you want to speak, but I had things to do. But I was not aware about a complaint or something until I got the letter in the mail.
The violation.
Correct. So by that, it was a little too late.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other objections or concerned citizens? Okay, thank you. On zoning case ZC-17-021, I'd like to entertain a motion for the first requested variance. You can go ahead and sit down now, sir.
Mr. Chair, with regard to case number ZC-17-021, I'll make a motion for approval of a variance, side yard setback from 10 feet to 2.77 feet.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a second requested variance.
Mr. Chairman, same case number, I'll make a motion for approval of a variance for rear yard setback from 5 feet to 2.02 feet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. I believe we have some paperwork for you tonight before you leave, sir. Mr. Chavez? Okay. Next case on the agenda, zoning case ZC-17-025. The applicant is Greenport Properties, Franklin and Kimberly Anderson, each 50% beneficiaries. We have a request for a map amendment. We have a request for a variance that I believe is going to be continued, but Janine will tell us that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zoning case ZC-17-025 is for a map amendment and a variance. And per your memo, the variance request will be heard at the September Planning and Zoning Commission meeting due to an error in the newspaper publication on the square footage amount.
Okay.
So tonight, we're just hearing the map amendment from A2 to R1.
Let us take care of that and make a motion. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for the moving of the variance request on this particular zoning case ZC-17-025 to September 12, 2017.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Go ahead, Janine. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So the map amendment from A2 to R1 is what you're hearing now for zoning case ZC-17-025. It takes place in Lockport Township. The owner is Greenport Properties. The agent is Dave Zentek, and the attorney is Tiffany Thompson. The applicant is requesting a map amendment from A2 to R1 in order to divide a single A2 parcel into two R1 parcels. I have the aerial up on the screen for you. The parcel is approximately 5.12 acres and is located within a residential neighborhood. There we go. Here are the plats of survey. I put them both up and I will refer to the parcels as the east and the west parcel that they are looking to create from this single lot. So the property is improved with a single family residence, a large pool building, and a small metal shed. And as you can see on the screen here, get my laser pointer, the shed is actually located up in this corner, tucked away over here on the western parcel. And that shed will be demolished should this map amendment be approved because an accessory would not be permitted without a primary structure. So the residence and the large pole building are actually located on the eastern parcel. As I mentioned, the property is zoned A2 and is actually surrounded by A2 properties to the east and west. There are some R1 parcels to the north and R1 to the south and A1 also to the south. This is an image looking north from East North Street, actually. at the parcel that would be the eastern parcel with the single-family residence. And then there's also a view looking north from East North Street towards the western parcel, which is vacant but has that small metal shed on it. Have some images here looking south from the subject parcel towards the other residential properties, and also looking at the neighboring parcel to the west. So staff is recommending approval of a map amendment from A2 to R1. Staff received comments from the Will South Cook Soil and Water Conservation District, the Will County Health Department, the Lockport Township Fire Protection District, and the City of Lockport. None of the agencies had any objections to the zoning request. R1 is compatible with the surrounding residential zoning districts. There's a mix of R1, R2, and R3. And R1 is also in line with the City of Lockport's comprehensive plan for that area, and also in conformance with our land resource management plan. Each of the proposed parcels, the east and west parcels, will meet the lot area and lot frontage requirements for the R1 district. They would each be about 2.5 acres and would have about 170 feet of frontage along East North Street. And that concludes staff's analysis.
I found a survey that you had up earlier, and I saw in one of our, in the packet, on the, I would say, looks like the eastern portion of the property. It says exceptional. Does that have any bearing on our case, and what does that mean?
No, it just was saying that this plat is for this parcel, and then that plat is for that parcel.
Okay, because I see a
So-
line there. I was just wondering if that meant that that portion of the property was...
No, it was, I do believe, and I could have the agent speak to that as well, but I do believe it was just saying that this is not actually part of this
Okay,
plat.
so they're almost two equal parcels.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
Dividing
Any
the
other
right
questions?
Today, what happened with the square footage?
So the variance request initially did not take into consideration the attached garage for that residence. So the square footage is actually going to go up, and that's why we have to table it to September, and we're going to republish with the correct square footage amount. So that variance request will address the fact that that R1 parcel, should the map amendment be approved, will exceed the accessory square footage area for that zoning district.
Okay, I had 2931, and then in the agenda it was 2460.
2931 will be the amount.
I didn't check the publication. What did I publish?
That's what we're going to republish that. And so for September, we'll have the correct amount published for that square footage. And it'll be the 2931.
Okay, all right.
And does that include all existing accessory storage?
Yes.
Okay.
It'll include the large detached pool building and then the attached garage for the residents.
Any other questions of staff? Okay, is there, the applicant here tonight? Any of the zoning commission members have any questions of the applicant? Come on down. Are there any objectors to this case? Do any of the zoning commission members have any objections to this case or questions?
Negative.
Okay. Now, staff is recommending approval on this case. If we do not have any questions, if you have anything you'd like to add, you're more than welcome to.
I could just
Please
answer.
state your name first of all.
Dave Zintek with Rudiger Tonelli and Associates.
Okay.
I can answer the question regarding the term exception. That has to do with the way the properties will be legally described once they're split. So one is described as the east so many feet, the other one is described as the underlying legal except the east so many feet. So it's just part of the legal description.
So it's still the same piece though, isn't it? Even though it is defined as an exception?
Correct. Correct. It's just saying that east half of that property is accepted out of that
Oh, that's for
survey.
the whole property? Okay. Because it looks like there's a line there, that's why I...
So the line underneath it.
Is that a dimension line?
That's a dimension line.
Okay. All right, do you have anything else to add? You can if you like.
Nope, there's no questions.
On zoning case ZC-17-025, I'd like to entertain a motion for the requested map amendment.
Mr. Chairman, on the case number ZC 17-025, make a motion for approval of map amendment from A2 to R1.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next case on the agenda, zoning case ZC-17-030. The applicant is Brian Bouchou. He has a request for his requested action as a variance, and Janine from our staff will open up the case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zoning case ZC-17-030 is a variance for minimum lot frontage from 300 feet to 15 feet in order to bring the parcel into compliance and in order to construct a pole building. It takes place in Custer Township, and the owner is Brian Bouchou. I have an aerial here up on the screen. You can see it's a long, skinny parcel outlined in red. The parcel is 10 acres, and it's improved with a single-family residence. I have the plat of survey up here for you, and it's tilted on its side just in order to make it fit a little bit better for the purposes of this presentation. And you can see the lot frontage there over on Smiley Road. Property is zoned A1 and is also completely surrounded by A1 zoning. I have some images of the home that's on the property currently, and then a view looking north from the residence down the access driveway towards Smiley Road. And I have another view of what would be the lot frontage for the parcel right here. This is the existing driveway that you use to access it. They have a shared driveway right now with the properties that are closer to Smiley Road. And like I said, they will not improve yet. They do intend to build a driveway of their own access in the future. I also have a view looking across Smiley Road towards the north. Staff is recommending denial of the variance request. The parcel was created in 1998, and it was deficient in lot frontage. And the parcel was actually created by a relative of the applicant, so there is no unique circumstance. It is important to note, however, that the variance request will not, in staff's opinion, adversely affect the essential character of the area. And I'm going to go back a little bit here. I don't think I have zoomed out enough, but the parcels that are in the vicinity along the south side of Smiley Road, there are 11 A1 parcels with frontage along Smiley, and 8 of those parcels are actually deficient in lot frontage with an average of 88 feet. So this variance request would not be out of context with the area. And that concludes staff's analysis.
Was the request driven by another, something that they wanted to do on the property?
Correct, they want to build a pole barn, indeed, yeah.
Any other questions?
No, this is creating flag lot.
It was a flag, yes, they created a flag lot.
Okay, is the applicant here tonight? Would you like to come down? Are there any objectors or concerned citizens also here tonight that would like to speak also? Yes, Brian.
I believe there is at least one person there.
Is there one person who would like to speak? Okay. Okay, please state your name for the records.
Brian Bouchou.
Can you say the last name again?
Bouchou.
Okay, I was close, huh?
You did good, yeah.
All right, staff recommended denial. Would you like to speak on that?
Well, I don't know why. I've lived there for 20-some years or so, so. Yeah, I just wanted to build a pole building. When we did it originally, it was all done through the county for a building permit to put the house there, so I'm not sure
Is the shared driveway, the property that's in front there, is that a relative?
Yeah, that was their request. My father-in-law wanted to, he didn't want
Is he
60
still
feet
living
of
there?
gravel. Yeah, yeah.
So he has what, about, not even an acre?
Yeah, he has 1 acre.
1 acre, and you have the rest?
I have the rest, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions of the applicant? What we're going to do is we're going to have you take a seat. You got an objector that would like to speak, and we'll give you a chance to respond. Would you please come down?
I'm sorry, it's not with this case.
Oh, it's not for this case?
No.
Okay. All right, well, we don't have an objector, so
Okay, I'm pretty
go ahead and sit down then.
good.
Yeah, you're good. One thing I want to point out to you, that we do have, sir, we do have 5 commissioners, what I spoke earlier, and you do need 4 yes votes for it to pass. So, you know, if you could go for the vote tonight, or if you would like, you could continue it, but it's at your call.
Let's just. go
Tonight?
for it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. On case ZC-17-030, I'd like to entertain a motion for the requested variance.
Mr. Chairman, for every case ZC-17-030, I'll make a motion for approval of a variance for minimum lot frontage from 300 feet to 15 feet.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Would anyone like to speak?
Man's lived there 20 years.
Yeah,
Not gonna hurt anything in that area.
no.
Now we got 2,000 foot of backyard, it's fine.
Okay.
Good point.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Moving right along. I do believe we have some paper for you tonight. Okay. Next case on the agenda. Zoning case ZC-17-032. We have the applicants are William and Darcy Berg. We have requested for a variance, and Jessica from our staff will look at the case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zoning case ZC-17-032 takes place in Troy Township. The applicants are requesting a variance in order to construct an addition to an existing carport. The area of the property can be seen on the screen. The property is improved with a single-family residence and a carport. The residence was constructed in 1967, and the carport was added in 1990 according to tax assessor records. And the carport does sit right in front of the residence. Now you can see a plat of survey on the screen, and the circle outlines the side where they would wish to encroach into that setback requirement. This is a zoomed-in portion of the plat of survey, and they also outline the addition they want to build, and they have a little kind of shaded-out piece of where the encroachment would be. The existing structure does meet setback requirements. A portion of that addition would be too close to the property line. These are drawings provided by the applicant and their architect. It shows the existing carport to the very top, so it's shaded out there. And then it shows the proposed addition, which would be a 10-foot addition. It'd be cantilevered as well. The property is zoned R3, and it is mostly surrounded by R3 zone parcel. To the south is the city of Joliet, and that zoning is R1. The first image is a view of the subject property, and as you can see, it's heavily wooded. It obscures even the carport. You can barely see it from the street. The second one is a view of the carport once you're actually on the driveway. So you can see kind of the unique shape there of the carport, and you can't really see the house that sits behind it because it is built right in front. The first picture on this slide is a view of the northern side of the carport, so this is where that addition would come in. And the second picture was a photo provided by the applicant, and it shows that southern portion where if an addition were to be constructed there, it would meet setbacks. Staff is actually recommending approval of variance for side yard setback from 10 feet to 5 feet. Staff recommends approval because of the topographical conditions on the property. If we look back, if you look on that southern side, if you go just behind the carport a little bit, there's a sudden steep descent to the back of the property. So it is very steep there. They would have to build a retaining wall. They would have to possibly bring some fill on the property. They would have to make significant changes to the existing landscape in order to put any sort of additional parking. Whereas on the other side, it is level. It starts to descend just behind the carport, but it gives them a little bit more room to build a carport addition. As well, that they are on a cul-de-sac, so there is some limited frontage. They wouldn't be able to build a carport at the rear because it does slow down so far. The water kind of drains towards the rear of the property. So for a couple of reasons, the first reason, the southern side of the property slopes at a steep angle. The second one is the limited space. So staff definitely thinks that this is a unique circumstance that supports the variance request.
So you're saying this cantilever roof that they're going to go into the they're requesting a variance for is for actually a purpose of another carport?
In addition.
Or is it for aesthetics?
It's to add space. So right now they have maybe 1-2 car garage and to put another kind of parking space.
Parking space underneath the cantilever?
Underneath the cantilever,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, so there are some mature oak trees on the property as well that the property owners would like to preserve. They wouldn't want to knock those down. So there's kind of some existing topographical reasons why they are choosing to do it this way. They're sensitive to what's already existing while trying to achieve what they want with their property.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Before I call the applicant, are there any objectors to this case? This particular case, ZC-17-032. Okay, do any of the commissioners have any questions to ask of the applicant? The applicant is here tonight. Would you like to speak? We do not have any questions.
If there's no questions, we don't need to speak.
And the staff has recommended approval. Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion for zoning case ZC-17-032 for the request of variance.
Mr. Chairman, for case number ZC, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Case number ZC-17-032, the variance for a side yard setback from 10 feet to 5 feet.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? The only thing I can say is that when I looked at these pictures, I'm like, man, I think Frank Lloyd Wright had to be around sometime. He must have drove by this place or something, because it's like, it's really different, but it's unique. So, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. We do have some paperwork for you. Next case on the agenda, zoning case ZC-17-033. Applicant is Jesus Ballet and Isidro Magdalenas, and the agent is Gus Garza. We have a request for 2 variances, and Janine from our staff will open up the case.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zoning case ZC-17-033 takes place in Joliet Township. The applicant is requesting 2 variances. The first variance for minimum lot area from 10 acres to 4.71 acres, and for minimum lot frontage from 300 feet to 0 feet with access provided through a recorded easement. The applicant is looking to bring the parcel into compliance with the Will County zoning ordinance. This is an aerial with the parcel outlined in red. To the north, you can see Rosalind Street. And as I mentioned, it's 4.71 acres. The parcel is improved with a single-family residence, a detached garage, a pole building, and a carport. And the plat survey also notates the recorded easements agreements, and you can see on here that it demonstrates it going up to the roadway to the north there. I have a zoning map on the screen with the parcel outlined in red, and it is A1 and completely surrounded by A1 zoning. These are some images of the existing structures, the single-family residence with the carport to the front and the detached garage is sort of in the background area there. And then we also have the pool building that's on the property. The applicant is currently in violation for building an addition to this pool building. You can see right here where the roof bumps out a little bit taller. And it was when the applicant came in to obtain a building permit after the fact for that addition, the lot frontage and the lot area issues were discovered. Have a view looking at the neighboring parcels to the northeast, and then also a view looking north towards Roslyn looking south from Roslyn towards the property through that access driveway. Staff is recommending approval of both the variance for minimum lot frontage from 300 feet to 0 feet and approval of the variance for minimum lot area from 10 acres to 4.71 acres. The parcel was created illegally, deficient both lot area and lot frontage in 1992, and the applicant purchased this property in 2015. He was not involved in the creation, and this poses a unique circumstance and a hardship that he cannot build on this property until he receives these variances. The variance for minimum lot area, in staff's opinion, will not alter the essential character of the area. There are 16 A1 properties located south of West Roslyn Street. And of those 16, 10 are actually deficient in lot area, from 0.75 acres to about 8.82 acres. The variance request for minimum lot frontage, in staff's opinion, will also not alter the essential character of the area. The applicant has a recorded access agreement to access his property. And of those 16 A1 properties that I mentioned running south of West Roslyn Street, half are actually deficient in lot frontage. And of those 8, 4 actually have no lot frontage, the same as the applicant's parcel. And that concludes staff's analysis.
Okay, any questions of staff? Thank you. The applicant here tonight? Okay, are there any objectors to this case? Okay, the applicant, would you like to come down first, please? And we have the overhead with the, shows the lot lines.
Is this one good?
Sure, that's good. I think some of us can see it, some of us can't. Please state your name for the records.
Good evening, my name is Gus Garza, and I represent Isidro Magallanes.
Okay, do you have anything to add? Now, staff's recommended approval, we do have an objector that will allow you to speak after they speak, but do you have anything you'd like to add at this time?
Not at the moment.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions? Okay, why don't you take a seat, we'll have the objector come down. Okay, you can both state your names, but we ask you that we'd only have one speak at a time.
Okay, I'm Pat Marin.
I'm Joseph Lask.
Okay.
And he is the neighbor. So he's the one that shares the easement. It's legally his driveway, and the only objection he really has is the traffic going up and down the driveway. With the additional pole barn now, there's much more traffic, where on any given day there's 10 to 30 cars going up and down the driveway now. And this driveway is shared by 3 people altogether, 3 neighbors.
And this traffic is
Going back and forth. I'm sorry, what?
And this traffic is people that live back there?
No, not necessarily. From what I understand, I believe there's 4 people that live in the house. 3 or 4, but it's people coming to visit, and the weekends are much worse with the traffic.
I closed my drapes in front, so I can't see them.
Before you just have one speaker at a time, go ahead.
I closed my drapes, so I don't even look that way anymore.
Okay, now, with this increased traffic, other than that, is there anything else that would lead you to call in the sheriff's department?
Parties?
Well, I'm just saying, is there anything else that may cause you to, have you called the sheriff's department on any trouble on the property, or noise, or?
Noise.
You have called for noise?
No, I did not. It was because it was the same night. It was noise all night long till 6 in the morning, and they ripped up my yard with the tires. The people that were partying in the barn.
And that was in January, and they said that they would fix it, and he's still waiting for them to come and fix it. And they also ripped up at the beginning of the driveway where they,
Yeah, my neighbor's yard.
like it was wet with snow and everything, and they drove through it. So it's mainly like the traffic up and down the driveway,
No
the noise.
No respect.
Okay, well, we're glad you came here tonight to talk about those things, but we're really voting on the variances, and when it's like a sheriff's type issue, that's something where you're gonna have to call, if they're driving onto your property, or trespassing, or making too much noise, that's something you're probably gonna have to talk to the sheriff though, but you're coming here and at least recording it with the zoning commission, it's on record to say that you did that, okay? And I'm gonna have the applicant speak to that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, do you have anything else to add?
Thank you. No.
Anything
All right,
else?
thank you. Okay, Mr. Garza.
We have fixed the whole entire driveway for all the 3 neighbors. We have been gravel and fixed everything. And if you have any problem, we're willing to fix it. It's no problem with his.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Have you actually been down that driveway?
Like 4 or 5 times, yes.
Recently, since they
Yes.
had problems?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, is it drivable, or
Oh, it's perfectly drivable. There is no holes, no anything.
was there any kind of, there's no holes on his,
No,
on the edge of it or anything?
we fixed that probably like a month and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we did the whole driveway.
Okay.
We spent about $800 to put everything for the 3 neighbors.
Okay. Well, you're representing the applicants, and I just want you, it's not really our jurisdiction, but I'd like to point out to you that one of our, if people are good neighbors, it goes a long way. And as far as the noise issues, and I understand in January, sometimes you could go out to gravel because it's slick and snow, but I just think you might want to remind them to be good neighbors, because we don't need them to have to call the sheriff down there.
Definitely.
And especially if it's doing damage to the easement. Easement is granted through his property so they can get back to that property, because you have no road frontage there. So that's something that, it was granted only to help the people that have that lot in the back. So, and just to keep it simple, I think you should, to be good neighbors, not to do things that would aggravate the neighbor and destroy any of his property, okay?
Definitely we agree with that.
So will you make that clear to them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, on zoning case ZC-17-033, I'd like to entertain a motion for the requested variance.
Mr. Chairman, case number ZC-17-033, I'd like to make a motion of approval for variance for minimum lot area from 10 acres to 4.71 acres.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Carruthers.
Yes.
Lager's not here, Mitchell's not here, Peterson votes yes, Stippen,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Chairman Lambalone.
Yes. Next, we have a second requested variance.
Mr. Chairman, same case number ZC-17-033, I'd like to make a motion for approval for variance for minimum lot frontage from 300 feet to 0 feet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? I just want you to know that we're glad that you came down here tonight and told us this, okay? But there's something that we can't handle when it comes to that type of issue, okay? We ask them to be a good neighbor, but if you hear noise and the road gets tore up, or they drive off the road onto your property and create a rut, that's something that you might have to call the sheriff to get involved with.
Okay, thank you.
But they said they're gonna make an effort to be good neighbors, okay?
Thanks.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Next case on the agenda. We have a request. We have applicant Roland and Arcolina Janata, and represented by Richard Kavanaugh. We have a request for a temporary use permit, and Brian Radner from our staff will open up the case. Sorry if I messed up your name. I think I did last time too.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. Will County zoning ordinance identifies certain temporary use permits that the zoning administrator is allowed to issue internally, and then another set of permits that require planning and zoning commission approval. This is the type of permit that requires planning and zoning commission approval, and that's why I'm here this evening. The applicant is requesting a temporary use permit for a fall festival, which will run during the month of October, and then Christmas tree sales. And, basically with the fall festival, it would include things like a pumpkin patch, barrel train, there's a cow that simulates a milking of a cow, and other, animal exhibits. Typical things that you would see in a fall festival. Over the years, school districts have brought their kids to this property. People come to visit Settlers Pond for that fall festival. In fact, I believe Pinky has probably been having this go on for probably at least 10 years that I'm aware of, if not close to that. That fall festival would run the month of October, and we did receive some comments from the health department and also the sheriff's office. Will County Division of Transportation and the Fire Protection District didn't have any comments. The health department identified two conditions, which I'll get to later, that I added in the report, but other than that, they don't have any objection. And the Will County Sheriff's Office indicated they had no objection either. All right, and then with the Christmas tree sales, so that will occur later, it would be November 24th through December 23rd. Pinky tried this last year, and that was an internal temporary use permit. I am authorized to issue that one, but she packaged these together so that we could get through in one process this time around. The Christmas tree sales will include holiday material items. She said last year she had maybe, or this year she's anticipating maybe 250 people, so it's a little bit smaller than the fall festival. We didn't have any complaints on the Christmas tree sale, so I don't really anticipate any problems with that. And as you're aware, it was a few months ago, she was before you requesting the exotic animals and the animal care and boarding, which was approved. There were a set of conditions in there which Pinky is currently working on complying with, so we're very satisfied with how that's progressing. And with that being said, the staff is recommending approval of this temporary use permit with, actually I didn't even give you any of the aerial. This is the property here. I zoomed in a little bit. Most of the activity is going to take place from here just south of Offner Road. This is the large barn. There's some exhibits in there. The animals are over in this area, and then there's some other displays in here. The Christmas tree sales, I believe based on the survey, would be, or the site plan would be up in this area. This is the survey of the property, the zoning map. You can see it's pretty much agricultural in this area. There is some estate residential. Just because of the way this survey was configured, it is going this way to the north. This is the large barn that I was talking about, which has some of the exhibits. Some of the animal stuff is over in here. And then this is the Christmas tree sales part of it, and it's indicating over in this area. The picture on the left is looking north from Offner Road. The picture on the right is looking east along Offner Road. I jumped ahead, Jess. All right, and then so the picture here now is looking southwest back at the property from Offner Road. As you can see, it is set back from Offner Road, so you don't really see a lot of it. And the picture on the right is the entrance to Settlers Pond. Staff, like I said, is recommending approval. There are 9 conditions in there, and I'm going to talk about those a little bit. Have to comply with the requirements, number 1, of the Fire Protection District. Number 2, require with everything requirements that the Health Department is asking for, which includes anything related to temporary food and in their inspection schedule. It also talks about potable water and what's required. Traffic control on Offner Road shall be provided by local law enforcement personnel if the temporary use causes undue traffic delays, or if Will County Department of Transportation asks for that. I just, with my experience with this, that hasn't been needed in the past. We haven't had any complaints about any traffic congestion. But I have that there as a zoning administrator that I could ask for that if we did have some complaints. The temporary use permit has to comply with the building ordinance requirements, and all of that is listed in a supplement in the report because it is pretty extensive. Last year, our building inspector went out to the property, and there were a few things that had to be corrected, but everything was corrected in time for the festival to go on. So I would anticipate that this year that we shouldn't have any problems with that, seeing that they met all the requirements last year. So then number 7, inspections shall be conducted by Will County Building Division, Health Department, and Fire to say that they're all okay. The fall festival structures or anything that goes along with it, like decorations, signage, it all has to be cleared from the property by November 14th of 2017. And all decorations have to be kept away from outside the public right-of-way. And with that, staff concludes our analysis.
Okay, the only thing I saw a little odd in there was on the additional information, number 3L, it says, any food service operation that sells, prepares, or serves potentially hazardous food must obtain appropriate permits from the Will County Health Department. So in other words, it almost is worded to say that if they're going to sell something that's hazardous, they have to get a permit to do it. So it just seems odd the way I just think that someone should take a look at the way it's worded.
It's interesting that you pointed out and
I understand that they have to go through the health department, but it just seems like, okay, so I'm going to give them some bad hot dogs or something.
I'm
But
sure
I better make sure I talk to the health department first.
I'm sure it has to do with the preparation of the food or the beverages that are sold. That language was put into the ordinance when it was updated, so I'm going to guess, I don't want to say for certain, that it probably came from our health department in the appropriate language. As I mentioned earlier, that is a condition that she does get any permit for anything that related to food or selling of food or any other facilities that will be provided. So.
Okay. Any other questions?
You usually have to have a food purveyor's license, or you have to be licensed by the Board of Health to prepare the food.
Yeah, that's what it says here. Okay, thank you. The applicant like to come down, if you'd like. If are any objectors to this case? Do any of the commissioners have any questions? Okay, we're good to go. And is there a number on this temporary use?
Yep, it's CUP 17-002.
Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion for the requested temporary use permit with the conditions.
Mr. Chairman, TUP 17-002, make a motion to approve a temporary use permit for Fall Festival and Christmas tree sales with the 9 conditions provided by staff.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Do we have any staff announcements? You want any of the commissioners? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting closed.